I warned them. I showed them the maps, the photos, the old survey reports with red circles around danger zones, but nobody cared. And then, one stormy night, the mountain groaned like it had been holding its breath for decades, and it came down in a roar that swallowed Karen's brand-new mansion whole. That was the moment everyone finally realized I hadn't been exaggerating. My name is Michael Warden. I'm 63, retired structural engineer, and until a few years ago, I thought I'd spend my last chapter quietly drinking coffee on the back deck watching the mountain behind my home breathe mist in the mornings. She wasn't the Rockies, but she was mine. Steady, sacred, alive. I bought this little place after losing my wife to cancer. I wanted peace solitude, and for a while I had it. The neighborhood was small, full of teachers, retirees, and birdwatchers. No gates, no manicured lawns, no gossip chain. Then the HOA was born. At first, it handled the boring stuff, trash pickup, mailboxes. But the day Karen Dorsey showed up, everything shifted. Karen, you know the type. Perfect tan that looked like it came in a monthly subscription, blonde hair that never saw a gust of wind, always in white or cream, like she thought dirt was beneath her. She bought the biggest lot halfway up the slope and immediately declared herself president. She didn't ask, she demanded. Within months, she had written a 42-page covenant update, rules about lawn height, paint colors, even a clause that banned planting trees taller than 6 feet. As if she owned the sky. I avoided HOA meetings, but sometimes they dragged me in when topography was discussed. That's when I first clashed with Karen. She floated the idea of grading the lower slopes for future development. I told her straight. Do you even know what kind of soil you're sitting on? That mountain is decomposed granite and shale. It won't hold if you disturb it. She smiled like I was a toddler with a broken toy. Michael, you're retired, aren't you? That one cut deep. As if the truth lost weight when my paycheck stopped. It didn't matter. She had friends, rich ones from Los Angeles, hungry for hillside mansions. She pitched them her vision. 6 megalots carved into the mountain, a bold new chapter for Silver Ridge. I'd seen how this story ended before Santa Clarita, Monterey, Nevada ghost towns. Dynamite doesn't negotiate with geology. I filed complaints, sent in survey maps, even attached photos of last year's runoff that nearly ate my fence. The city shuffled papers, but Karen greased palms. By the time anyone responded, the permits were stamped. And then came the blast. Boom. My windows rattled, coffee splashed across the table. The mountain shuddered like a wounded animal. Dust rolled down the slope, thick and gray, and when it cleared there was a jagged scar where a shoulder of green had once been. For the first time since my wife's funeral, I felt rage wake up inside me. Karen strutted around like she'd just built the Eiffel Tower. She threw a press event with champagne drone footage banners screaming, "The Summit at Silver Ridge." I stood in the crowd, arms crossed, seething. She bragged about luxury hillside living while behind her the earth was literally sliding inch by inch. I kept fighting. Wrote letters, pulled favors, called an old protege named Samuel who confirmed the slope profile was unstable. But Karen fought dirtier. A newsletter appeared in every mailbox painting me as an unstable old man, an obstructionist. At the next HOA meeting, she passed a rule banning unsolicited expert opinions. Translation, shut Michael up. That was the moment doubt crept in. Maybe I was just the cranky old neighbor. Maybe I was clinging to my past career like a lifeline. I remember sitting alone on my deck one night watching the scar in the hillside glow under moonlight thinking, am I the crazy one? Should I just let it go? The loneliness pressed down harder than the mountain ever could. For a brief, bitter moment I wanted to quit. But then the rain came. Just a drizzle at first, and I heard it, the low groan of shifting soil. My deck, steady for 15 years, creaked. That sound snapped me back. I wasn't crazy. The mountain was speaking, and I was the only one listening. I picked myself up, printed every measurement, every time-stamped video. I put on an old suit that barely fit, marched into the HOA clubhouse, and laid it all out. This isn't a theory I told them. It's math and gravity. And gravity doesn't care about your permits. Some neighbors believed me, asked questions. Others glared. Karen stormed out red-faced. The next morning, someone smashed my truck window. A warning. 2 days later, I got a cease and desist letter from the HOA's lawyer claiming I was defaming them. They wanted me silent. But silence is complicity, and I wasn't about to let Karen's ego bury us all. The storm season rolled in heavier. I watched rivulets of water carve down the slope like veins opening in a wound. Trail cameras caught whole chunks slumping off at night. Karen, meanwhile, kept building her crown jewel mansion right on the edge, ignoring stabilization. Her cousin Vince, the contractor, laughed when I warned him. "You old folks need to stop living in the past," he said. I told him flat, "You'll wish you had my elevation when that slope moves again." He waved me off. And then it happened. 3:41 in the morning, sheets of rain hammering the roof, thunder rolling. I was awake because I always was these days. The sound started low like a drumbeat inside the earth, and then it roared. The mountain let go. A wall of mud rock and uprooted trees cascaded down like thick lava. It tore through fences, snapped utility poles like toothpicks, and swallowed Karen's mansion whole. Lights blinked out alarms, screamed, then silence until the screaming of people trapped or terrified broke through. By dawn, the place looked like a war zone. News drones buzzed overhead. Headlines flashed "Luxury Home Destroyed in Silver Ridge Slide." The same neighbors who once voted to silence me stood in shock, wrapped in blankets, staring up at the wound in the earth. And Karen. She survived, stumbled out in a mud-stained raincoat, mascara streaked, staring at me like I had summoned the mountain's wrath myself. The next day she tried to spin it. Called a press conference blaming unpredictable weather patterns and hinting that my warnings had created panic. I nearly choked on my coffee. Panic didn't tear down. Her house greed did. This time the tide turned. I delivered every file, every report, every photo to the county, the state engineering board, even the press. Neighbors rallied. Lawyers stepped up. Karen hit back with a lawsuit accusing me of disrupting the project. We went to court, and the judge dismissed her claim in minutes, called it harassment, ordered her to pay fees. Watching Karen's mask crack in that courtroom felt like seeing the mountain crack all over again. The recall vote came fast. 87% of residents voted her out. Her allies resigned in shame. Silver Ridge's HOA board dissolved, replaced by people who actually cared about safety instead of champagne photo ops. And me, I finally sat back on my porch, exhausted, not victorious, just done. Karen lost everything. Her house, her power, her grip on the community. The mountain had the last word. And if you take anything from my story, let it be this: you can't legislate geology. And you sure as hell can't bully the earth into submission.